When most people think of World War II, they imagine soldiers on distant battlefields. Yet for millions of ordinary families across Europe, Asia and even the American home front, defence started not in trenches but at their very own front doors. With supplies scarce, threats of invasion real and air raids looming, communities and households developed clever methods to protect their homes and survive. Many of those tactics have been forgotten in modern times, replaced by technology and convenience. But in truth, they still hold incredible value today. Not just as history lessons, but as practical defence strategies any survival-minded household can use. Why did World War II home defence matter to ordinary people? During the Blitz in Britain, during German advances across Eastern Europe, and even in small towns in the Pacific, civilian homes became the first and last line of defence. Blackouts, camouflage, fire safety, food security and improvised alarm systems were not optional. They were daily survival measures. What's remarkable is that these communities learned to stretch resources, organise neighbours and create low-cost barriers that worked. In today's uncertain world, where civil unrest, natural disasters or resource shortages can strike, these same lessons are directly applicable. Blackout strategies were really the first shield. One of the most widespread and enforced tactics of World War II home defence was the blackout. Every window, door crack or light source had to be covered to avoid detection by enemy aircraft. Families used thick curtains, cardboard and even paint to keep light from escaping their homes. While the purpose then was to prevent bombing targets, the lesson today is equally relevant. Controlling visibility is a vital part of security. For instance, preppers and modern homesteaders often overlook the glow of lights during a blackout or crisis. Applying World War II methods, one can use heavy blackout curtains or blankets to maintain privacy and avoid drawing attention in times of civil disturbance. The concept of dark discipline can prevent looters from knowing who still has power or resources. Fire safety became, a matter of survival. Another underappreciated World War II tactic was fire preparedness. Incendiary bombs rained down on cities like London, Hamburg and Tokyo, forcing civilians to learn how to put out fires quickly before they spread. Families kept buckets of sand, water and simple stirrup pumps right by their doors. They trained to extinguish flames in seconds. Today, the threat may not be bombings, but wildfires, riots or even electrical fires during blackouts. Still, the principle remains unchanged. Having immediate firefighting tools close at hand can mean the difference between losing everything and surviving. A metal trash can filled with sand, strategically placed water barrels and basic hand pumps are honestly timeless defence measures. Improvised barriers and traps slowed down threats. In occupied areas, families and villages built improvised barriers to protect homes from intruders. Simple obstacles such as stacked logs, ditches or even furniture barricades were surprisingly really effective at slowing down aggressors. Barbed wire and anti-vehicle trenches were common in rural areas. So, modern adaptation could mean, reinforcing entryways with heavy furniture during a crisis, or maybe laying gravel or even thorny hedges under windows to deter intruders, or just using natural landscaping as barriers. Just as families during World War II bought time by forcing invaders to struggle with obstacles, well, the same principle today can discourage or at least delay unwanted entry. Food storage was itself a defence tactic. Food was as important as weapons in World War II. Victory gardens were planted in every backyard to reduce reliance on vulnerable supply lines. Canning, root cellaring and rationing were, honestly, defence measures, ensuring families could hold out under siege. The lesson for today is pretty straightforward. Food security equals resilience. Raised beds, preserved vegetables and long-term storage of staples can be your equivalent of a World War II victory garden. When supply chains falter, stored food makes your home, less vulnerable to desperation-driven theft or government rationing. Community vigilance was, without a doubt, the strongest shield. Air raid wardens and neighbourhood watches, they formed spontaneously during the Second World War. Neighbours reported suspicious activity, organised patrols, and really supported each other in emergencies. Homes didn't stand alone, they were defended by a web of eyes and ears. Today, building trust and alliances with neighbours is honestly one of the most overlooked security measures. Sharing information, pooling resources, or even creating basic communication protocols can transform scattered households into a resilient unit, just as it did during the war. The forgotten home defence tactics of the Second World War proved that survival wasn't just about weapons, but about discipline, community, and practical preparation. Blackouts kept homes hidden, buckets of sand stopped fires, gardens provided food, and neighbours formed defence networks. These methods are, well, timeless, affordable, and effective. In a world where crises can appear suddenly, they remain as relevant as ever. Subscribe to Backyard Wisdom for more deep dives into history's forgotten survival strategies, and share this with anyone serious about preparing smarter, not harder.